Can you like tell us about how you came up with like the patterns for your tiles? Because I think the way just like the overall theme of your art is really interesting in terms of like the theme of the show, and also like it really stands out from like all the other paintings that were submitted.
Oh, thanks. Well, it goes back to my childhood and how I became an artist. Like I always knew I was going to be an artist. My grandmother had a tiled bathroom and tiled entryways, black and white tiles. And I would be at her home and bored because I was the only grandchild at the time. And I would take my crayons and color in the patterns.
Mhm.
So it wasn't exactly a good thing for my grandmother, but I loved that. And I think it always stayed with me, those patterns from that time. And when I was looking for my working with my subjects, I wanted to have that interaction of backgrounds that are decorative and yet can interact with the objects that I place in the paintings.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like, so basically, like you're saying your grandma's house was filled with tile, so that's really like where your
It's
inspiration comes
yes,
from.
it stayed with me
Yeah.
over the time. And then through traveling and seeing beautiful mosaics in Europe and in the islands and in especially like Mexico, and we were in Cuba as well, and the beautiful tile work and mosaics that I saw there that also helped influence my work.
Yeah, I was gonna say I went to Greece a few years ago, and that's like it reminds me of like when I was at Greece. They also have
Mhm.
like really nice tiles there. But yeah, can you talk about like executing control within your art and like how does the inspiration come about when seizing like this type of control that you talk about?
Well, it's sometimes it's the objects. Like I'll be the I'll see something. The last painting that I created was shoes, and they're all my shoes. And I
Mhm.
happen to be organizing my shoes, and they were arranged on the floor in my bedroom. And I just looked at them and I said, I have to do something with these. So I came up with a tile pattern. It's sort of very vibrant. And the shoes, my shoes that I selected were mainly grays, blacks, and navy blues. And they run the gamut. I have flip-flops, high heels, uh, boots, and it's titled, Who Am I Today? Because I feel like the shoes reflect a woman's personality. And yet you have that colorful background. So even
Mhm.
though the shoes are reflecting your personality, there's still something that's hidden in the background, like the beautiful colors. And it isn't until you get to know the person that everything comes into focus. So it's kind of like that. I'm trying to hold that background, foreground objects, everything in check so that there's this dialogue between the objects in the background and also with the viewer. So when the viewer is looking at the objects, they're also getting this interplay between what they see.
I see. So would you say that's like that kind of narrative plays into like your feelings about your own art?
Yes, yes. As I'm painting, I'm thinking about how is this going to resonate with the viewer. I being entertained? If I'm being entertained by what I see, I think the viewer's going to be entertained as well.
Mhm. So can you tell us about a like a painting that you had a hard time finishing? Because I noticed that there's so much
Yeah.
detail.
Yeah, there's one right back here that this is another series I'm doing. It's called Tablescapes. And what
Hmm.
happened was I got too involved with the patterns, too detailed, and I didn't plan out the background for it. So I
Yeah.
became in love with all these patterns and the platters and the tablecloth, and nothing was working. I came down one day, I said, this just isn't working for me. So I had to put it away. And it's that dialogue wasn't happening. Like I was just becoming just too enamored of my own, like, ooh, look what I can paint. Look at this detailed background that I could do, and it wasn't working. So I put it away. I put it backwards. I came down, turned it around, and I said, it's not working for me. I was trying to be too quick and too like cutesy with it. I said, I need to actually plan. So there's a lot of planning in my paintings. So there's a lot of drawing. And I said, I'm going back and I'm going to start. So this is one of my drawings. So you can see I'm doing like the tablecloth is like a quilt. I'm playing with placement of my objects.
Yeah.
So there's, since it's a tablescape, it's I have some pomegranates, some olives, some goblets here. It'll probably have some wine, some bread, butter. So, and just, I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to put on this platter here. But that's, you know, I'm trying to take more time and working out the interactions between the objects and the design that I need to show in my painting. So I
Wow.
already have a good feeling about that. That's heading in the right direction.
So for the first one, do you think you might have to restart it or just completely like dispose of
I
it or
may just, I think I'm just gonna let it go, work on this, go from here.
okay.
There are another series that I have. It is like tablescapes, and it's platters with food, fish. So it's this sort of fits in with that other direction that I'm working on.
Are they all watercolor or are they acrylic?
There's some acrylic and some
Okay.
watercolor.
Okay, I see. Is there anything else that you want anybody to know about you as an artist or your work or anything about the show?
I'm trying to think what oh, I know. I wrote down a few things. There's
Okay.
one, I think Shopping Spree is in the show itself.
It
And
is.
that particular painting, I want the viewer to like think about it. Is it really a fun shopping spree? Because if it looks like somebody went crazy and bought all these shoes and different
Mhm.
items, all luxury items. But there's also, if you look closely, broken beads. And when I was doing some research, there's like Dutch painting, 17th century Dutch painting. Whenever there was like broken jewelry, it either it represented either a broken romance or a death. You know, time is over. You know, fleeting, and you have to
Mhm.
pay attention to it. So that's why I put the beads, the broken beads. So it may not exactly be a shopping spree. It may be like shopping revenge, you know, for a broken romance.
See, that is interesting. I noticed the beads, but I wasn't really sure like why they were there. I just thought it was just
A design element. Yeah.
yeah,
But that's the backstory behind that.
that's interesting.
And I
Okay.
believe that the shoes, there's like silver shoes in one of the boxes. I actually have those
Yeah.
shoes in another painting that I have I call it a morning corner. And it's a corner of a table. And you can see the person's shoes and feet, you know, up to like their calves standing by the table. So it's sort of like related, the story going on there.
Oh, I see. Is there anything else you would like the people watching to know? This interview will be like on the YouTube page, so if there is anything else, you can go ahead and share, but
I think that's about it about the
that's
paintings.
about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's it for the interview. Thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
some of your
Thank you.
time. You're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
as
No
well.
problem.
All
Have a
right.
good one, okay?
You too. Bye-bye.